temptation, and I pushed it back again, okay? And I do use them. I use them when they need it, but I will cover the little pocket up because I don't want people to know I actually did the pocket up. So for the stringers, it's a perfect place to put it in, okay? And there's a couple other. Some of my mates, they pocket roll everything. You know, they do a bookshelf like this and they put the frame on. The back of that frame. Tell you what, the thing weighs 20 kilos just because of the pocket holes and the screws that are going to go through it, okay? So, you know, you take your pick. You like the pocket hole? Yeah, they do. They work. And the UJK guys have got a nice one as well.
You get that plastron saw.
Yeah, gosh, I am impressed.
There's a place for it. If there's somewhere where you can hide it, or you can make it a nice feature.
A feature, correct? Yeah.
And it's just it's strong and it's quick, especially with those jigs. I mean,
you can't beat it. They're quick. They are so quick. I'm
difficult to cock it up. You just have to. What I used to. I did some practice shots.
You can't read that box.
You have to do that. You have to test the drill with the torque settings, and then you're fine. Otherwise, you over torque it.
Guaranteed, I'm a convert, but I'm not going to put in everything I work. That's for sure. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
In terms of pocket holes, if one can swing it, what I would suggest, what I would recommend is getting a format. A format.
Yeah, if you got the money, yeah.
Because compared to using a K4 or a K5 jig, the format you do it like 4 or 5 times quicker.
Sure. But if you're on a production line, or you've got a production run or something that's high volume, then I would say the foreman's a good investment. Okay, I would definitely go that route. But yeah, what about K4? Yeah, K4 is good enough for me, man. I don't use it that often. For stringers, definitely it's a winner. They're going to go in now. They're going to get hit to the pocket.
Well, the crate face is expired now. So there's a lot of other guys on the market.
So I can go 3D print my own now.
Try it.
Cool. I'm into that. Okay. Yeah, but guys, okay, so at some point do have a look at those kind of that's something for Christmas, something for a birthday present. Try them out. You won't be sorry. I would also try that out. Okay. Go and have a look at the jigsaw. Let's have a look at that. So jigsaws, your handheld bandsaw. How's that for a comment? Hey? You guys all own a jigsaw. Who doesn't have a jigsaw? Okay, so I was on the right track. Okay. That's an absolute winner of a tool. The other day I was busy doing some circles out of wood, and they finished the job, and I put that thing up, and the lady came past and she said, "How did you do that?" And the guy came past and said, "How did you do that?" She said, "I work with wood, but how did you do that? Are you serious? Do you don't know how to do that?" No, I'm thinking, jigsaw's like number 2 on my list here, and you don't know how to cut a circle out of that thing. So you know, I had to do it. So I said to the guy, "Okay, hang on, you got a minute?" "Yeah." Got a piece of wood, and I said, "Okay, I'll mark the circle, got to cut this and mark the thing." Took the jigsaw, and then the lights came on. He said, "You're kidding me. You can do that with a jigsaw. I've been working with wood for years, and I didn't know you could do that." So it just shows you, solitary trade. We do it all on our own. We're not getting out there. Yep.
How do you mount big pieces of wood you use with jigsaw? What tool do you use, like if you want to cut a big circle? I always find it difficult to position the wood.
I would just grab a corner of the table, clamp it, and then put the hole in and just ride into the circle, cut it around, and just kind of gauge that I'm getting close. I've got a lot of cut marks on the edge of my corners, don't worry. Get into the corner and just unclamp, turn it around, and then go. But now, okay, I've got there's a nice, one of the bigger power boys, power tool guys, these guys, they've got a nice little caddy that you can drop your jigsaw into, and it's got like a tape measure that you put it into the center of your circle. You take this tape measure, attach it to the caddy, and you just ride around. You can cut up to 3 meters. So various ways. Okay, so you're still puzzled? You're still puzzled?
No.
Yeah, just move it around. You can't hit it in one shot. You just got to keep moving it around. So just clamp it. And normally, just try and cut as much of the waste off that you need, unless the circle's got to be in the piece that you're busy with. Okay. But if it's a circle that you want, try and remove the waste. That just doesn't cause an issue for you. Okay, you can hit a good jigsaw. I think you guys know this now. The cheap one caused a lot of heartache. It was awesome, but it was a lot of heartache. Am I right? Because you pushed the heck out of the thing and then it went that way. So you look down and you say, "But I can't see the other side." You turn it around and you just check how close it is to the edge. And when you eventually sorted this thing out, you had a groove cutting out like that, I'm sure. The only reason that happens is because you were pushing too hard on the blade, and the blade has to do something, so it just bends. So it goes either that, mostly it goes that way, and it just bends underneath you, and that's why it's cutting out skew. If you get yourself a decent, I'll tell you what, you'll learn. You go and use other people's tools, and you'll see what they've got, and then you go back to yours, and you suddenly realize this thing just slices, and you treat yours with more respect. But a good blade, good quality blade, don't skip on blades. Get good quality blades. The proper blade for the job. Jigsaws have got various types. You get long blades, you get short ones, you get really ripping blades that can just slide through everything. Cut a tree down if you want to. Not sharp as that. So, you know, make a good investment in that. So a jigsaw, I've seen guys take jigsaws and put them underneath a table and then they use it like a little table saw thing to cut their wood. And the job works. It does the job. It works well before. Things are quickly to cut something off and trim something off. It's there for you. So certainly do have a look at that. Right, circular saw. Okay, look. There's an option. Okay. And by the way, these can all be battery operated tools or corded. It's entirely what your budget can afford. Okay. The circular saw. There's the other one. It's a must-have. Okay. You know, to rip down your material or to cross-cut your material before moving into something else to the next stage or whatever. It's the best thing ever. If you're in a good position to own something like a Festool, the REQ55, I think. Who's got a Festool punch saw? Okay, seriously, dream of this toy. Dream of it. The guys will not know this animal that you work with. If you've got that, you don't even have to get a table saw. You can do absolutely everything off that with that saw. Absolutely everything. Kitchen cupboards. Cut everything off of it. That's if you want to do that. It's accurate. It's got blades that can cut through melamine. It doesn't make any chips on it. It cuts through hardwood. It cuts through softwood. It's got a nice plunge depth on it. It's got a riving knife at the back so nothing binds. It runs on a track. The tracks are interchangeable between the other products. It just works, man. It's the best thing you can ever get your hands on. So when you're looking at a circular saw, either decide what you're going to do. If you're going to use it just for ripping your material down. When we say rip, it's just kind of get plus minus your dimensions, so you're going to take it to the next level. It's all better, but that's a different must-have. Okay. So I also have an audible one as well. So if I go off to a big store and I've got a special on some of the material and it doesn't all fit on my bucky, I just quickly rip it there in the car park and chuck it on the back. Interesting when people watch you cutting your piece of oh, this guy's cutting his car up, man. You've got this big crowd around you. I'm just putting it in my car. So smart. All right, random orbit sander. All right, okay, so 1,000 comments on that one, but I think the best thing in terms of sanding is the random orbit sander, the round one. Get yourself a 125mm. It's the common one out there. Different brands, cheap and nasty, will give you the results that you want or don't want. Pigtails, you all know what a pigtail is, eh? And swirling, yeah, you'll know. Get a decent one. You know, if you want to do it by hand because you want to keep fit, your Fitbit needs to have some steps on it. You've done 50,000 steps, meaning I was just use sanding. Or put on this arm while you're busy screwing your screws in. You know, so have a look at that. So your random orbit sander, it's a good investment. I'll be honest with you again, Festool's the best ones that I've got my hands on. Okay, I worked through the other ones. I've got the Bosch 125 and the 150. They're nice toys. They just don't seem to feel like they're doing the random part sufficiently for me. Yet I go to Bosch and I say, it is doing it. I'm saying it's not doing it. Take the Festool, and the Festool does it. And there's no pigtails coming out of it. I'm saying, I'm swirling. I'm thinking, there's a difference between these two guys. So I now use the Bosch for the 80 grip, the 80 and the 120, and then I take the Festool to go the 180 to 240, 320, and I go up. Okay. The Festool's also got nice vibrations. It doesn't, so you don't feel that tingly effect afterwards as well. Okay. So the tools are going to they've got their features. They're going to make it nice for you. Dream of these tools, guys. Okay, dream of them. You dream, and that's because you are. Okay, you've dreamt of it, and you'll get it. Okay, so work your way towards that. Then the next one is the router. Okay, who's got more than one router? There you go. Now you're looking at saying, well, what do you mean more than one? Yeah, you do. You've got the beast under your table. Okay, your 2.4 kilowatt. It's going to chew everything to pieces. And then you've got your 1.6 that you're using for this, and you've got your plunge, and then you've got another one, then you've got another one with another bit. So you've got different bits, you're going to have to put them into different routers. You don't want to sit there and change these things and change the depths. It's the most irritating thing. So, yeah, and they don't have to be overly expensive. I think for the most part, the routers have played their part out quite nicely. If you want the fancy attachments and all of that, the easy dust extraction fitting thing, yes, look at the upmarket products. They provide you with all of that and all the fancy gadgetry that comes with it and the guides and all that kind of thing. They go for those, and then the circle templates and cutting and all that kind of thing. They go for those. But I must say, I've got from a Ryobi, I've got a no-name brand thing I bought from hypermarket or something, and that thing's going, it's still working well, it's doing the job. Then I've got 2 Bosches, and then I've got the Festool. So, and the nice thing about the Festool is you've got the handle at the back of it, and you've got the manage it from the front. So they've all got their own sort of unique features around them. But get yourself one that's comfortable for you, and then obviously all the things that go with it. And why I said the router, because typically you would always start doing shelving. You know, when you talk to guys, they say, I know how to make a bookshelf for somebody. So you're going to use it for your dados and your rabbits, okay? If you know how to set that up properly, and you're going to create the dados in there so you can stock your boards in and so on, the rabbits and whatever. And then the round O's to knock the edges off on a piece of square, wood, you know, or corner or rough corner or whatever. It works nicely for you. Then you start getting a bit more innovative with your router. You start making your tool welds, or maybe leveling a piece of wood because you can't afford to get a planer or a jointer. So then you create a sled and you run a sled. The sled actually was just get a nice wide bit, 1.5 inch bit, for example, and then run that across the top of it. It does a fantastic job for you. So the routers are really the prize tool to work with. So basically, if you've got those 5 tools in your bag, you can make anything out there. Okay? I can't think of anything with exception. Anybody think of something? You can do anything. You can make it. You can build it. Any comment? Anything. You're in good hands. Yep.
So, where do your tools like your table saw, your bench saws, and miter saws come?
Okay, those are starting to move into the rounds of nice to have. So the table saw. Table saw, you start using that if you're doing a lot of cutting. Then in terms of setting up the circular saw, you've got to jig it. So you're going to have small pieces or small widths of wood, and you need to cut a lot of them. Then a table saw starts becoming a tool of choice in that regard. Do you understand? To make cuts and do that kind of work. Because it's more complex now to set up with the circular saw, these type of saws. And for the more accurate work, okay, so, and then maybe also for tapering. So that's where it comes into play. You're starting to move into that realm. Then a table saw starts becoming an attractive option, okay? Then if you look at the designing compound miter saw, like this Bosch over here, that's, I tell you, I wanted desperately to put that into the basic electric tools, because who's got a miter saw? You can't do without it, eh? Everything gets done on it, except so wide is the max you can go, but everything that you want to do on it, you want to cut something to a length quickly, set the stops up, cut it and off you go. You know, you can do it on a table saw, but then you've got this massive length sticking out that side and you can't put it up against the fence, you've got to move it across and put it, use it on your miter and then run it through. It takes forever to set it up. So the miter saw is now the next evolutionary step. My miter saw followed on only later on. But I tell you what, when I got it, I just thought to myself, you idiot, why did you not buy this thing earlier? Or get a cheaper one for that matter. It was just the best tool. My miter saw is always dirty every single day if I'm in the workshop. That's the one I clean the most out of all of them. I might not use the table saw every day, but I can guarantee you my miter saw is the one that I'm on every single day, even if I'm taking that much off or that much off, or cutting a miter or whatever.
You know, maybe I might be an exception, but what I've discovered, you know, there are certain tools that are meant for certain jobs, but
sure.
Sometimes you find that you can use for something else.
Yeah.
So, for example, I do my tapering on a miter saw. I don't do it on the table saw.
Okay.
So what I then do is, because like I cut it small pieces like this.
Okay. Yeah.
But now, if you do it by hand, that blade is too close to your hand.
Okay.
So what I then use is pocket hole clamp. It works very well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I clamp that piece and I cut it, saves my hand.
Okay, so that's the next evolutionary step. It's creating jigs for everything that you want to work with. I mean, I've got jigs that I've used once or twice that have collected dust, never used them again. But if I ever need them, they're there. So you start jigging things up. You know, you get jiggy with your woodworking. You know, you create the jig and you start working it. So that's the next evolutionary step, and you will. You know, you put a project together, you've got some form of a jig that you've had to quickly, you know, whether it be a small little spacer that you cobble together to quickly just to do something, that's a jig. Or it's a big thing that you're going to use on a regular basis. Those are all jigs and that you eventually start developing and making. You know, and then the best thing to make them out of is MDF. You get some real cheap and nasty material. MDF is the best I've found in my case, and I do my jigs off that. And then
Well,
with it, yeah.
On my side, I don't use a jig on the miter saw.
Yeah.
Because if I want to do the tapering, I actually use the scale
Yes.
on the miter saw for the
If you're using something that size, it's perfect.
Exactly.
But now you want a longer leg for a table that needs to be tapered.
Yeah.
The only way place you're going to do this on a table saw, and then you're going to create a jig for that.
Exactly.
Okay. Right. So you can get the idea how things start evolving around you. But as I say, those are the 5 basic tools. But I promise you, I should put the table saw probably last, but the sliding compound miter saw, just the day you get that and you use it, you suddenly realize and say, why did I not get it earlier? I think the guys who got that, obviously, you must have said that to yourself. Why did I not get it earlier? Just takes all that effort out of you, and you can't get things going. Then obviously you need the space for all of that. Right, guys, so okay, there's the, sorry.
Okay. You spoke about cleaning your table saw and so on.
Yeah.
Now, under your basic tools, obviously if you're using either router or bend saw, a circular saw or whatever.
Yeah.
You haven't spoken about dust extraction.
Okay, all right. That's a topic that you could spend also the whole day talking about. But what we a little bit earlier on, I don't know if we spoke about wearing dust respirators and masks, okay? So for the moment, for the small enthusiast, that's going to suffice. The dust extraction, you know what, okay, we can spend a minute or two on that. Get yourself a cheap and nasty little vacuum cleaner, a 400, 500 Rand Hoover from whoever's selling them, 1,000 watt motor. Get yourself a Tornado, it's probably the easiest way to go, so it doesn't put the strain on that little vacuum cleaner. And get the hose. You can evolve, you can go and get pool hosing and use that maybe as a temporary measure. I hope I'm not saying the wrong thing here. But you need to be careful because it's happened to me where I had an explosion on my extractor. It wasn't earthed properly. Okay, so it was a bit more of a fright than anything else. Yes, but dust extraction is a big thing, and it's all dependent on where you are and what you're working with. And as I say, it's a topic that you can go on for hours on that one. I've always used that, and if I go to a client site, I have a vacuum cleaner that I take with me that I can plug into my saw, for example, or my router, or whatever I'm working with, or my sander for that matter. I can just plug it in and I can sand there, try and minimize the dust. So you can use portable devices as well, and then just get the different fittings and attachments and even turn them. If you've got somebody that works on a lathe, they can turn one for you to make a fitting. But yes, dust extraction is yes, you can, exactly. So your options are out there, but yes, dust extraction is definitely something you've got to look at, okay? At some point, depending on how much. I think for the weekend warrior, most of the guys don't worry too much about it, as long as they're wearing dust protection. That's the important part. But I think for the rest of you guys, just sweep up your shavings and your dust, and sawdust and whatever, and then put that in the dust.
Most tools have just plug in the vacuum.
Yeah, they've got a little micro. Yeah, they've got a dust port on it. You can connect them. That's the way I always work. Okay.
Some
of them have got little micro dust filters on them already now. They come with it. They're not efficient, but they work. Hello, Dave.
It's not a good idea also to use this dust deputy. It prevents your bag from clogging up too quickly.
Sorry, the dust deputy is also known as the Tornado, and I did discuss that a little bit earlier. Thank you for mentioning it again because it is twice important, doubly important. Yes, that is the way to go. Get yourself a drum like that with what's it? That's another brand. Sorry. So yes, put the dust deputy on the top of it, so the dust will fall into the bucket before going to your vacuum cleaner. It just saves on you having to keep you cleaning out your vacuum cleaner and banging it and whatever. Okay. But just a quick discussion on it. Okay, so does that help? What do you use for dust extraction? Your kid?
For my small tools, like your miter saw and the hand tools, I use a dust deputy with a metabo vacuum cleaner. Yeah, the one that's got that automatic thing that's gonna start the machine it automatically. But for the big machines like the panel saw and whatever, I use that big.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm sorry, your name. I didn't get your name.
I'm Harold.
Again?
Harold.
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 Yeah. How's it, Harold? There's a company called the Filz Alto. They make, you may know them as the brand WAP. They make the blue little vacuum cleaners. You may have seen them around. They're selling a The vacuum cleaner you're talking about, got the Euro connector on the back of it. So if you plug your tool in, and then you switch your tool on, the switch the vacuum cleaner on for you as well. Guys, only about that, it's 25 litre. And the last time I looked, the price was about 1,200 rand for one of those vacuum cleaners. So you may want to have a look around. They've still got them on the market. I bought one about 6 months ago. My other one called it a day. And that's the one I normally use when I go to somebody's house to go and do something. I think I use that.
Is it marketed by West? Or is it?
Well, the company's changed to the Filz Alto. Is the name of the company, but they've still got the blue branding. It's the WAP, the W-A-P branding. It's a German brand. But I think the WAP is blue.
The pressure washer.
Yes, they've got the pressure washers as well. Yeah, you're right. But they're the blue brand, and not the yellow brand like the other.
Pressure washer, yeah.
Yeah. They also sell vacuum cleaners as well, the yellow brand. But the blue ones are the ones you go because their price is quite good. And the motors they pack up, they're the one size fits all motor. So if it breaks on any one of them, you just get a little motor from them. A couple of bucks. I actually got it from Norfolk directly. Bought it from them. They're called Norfolk N-I-L-F-I-S-K. It's a Swedish firm. Yeah, Norfolk Alto. They bought out WAP. So they're now under their brand. But the equipment's exactly the same. Looks exactly the same.
Yeah, Northwest were known for their vacuum extraction.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So now they've taken over their brand, so from just expand the group. But it's worth having it, minus 1,200 rand. So it was worth it. I got the big one with the stainless steel drum that you use for woodworking, like you were talking about earlier. It's the one that Festool sell, but they rebranded with Festool. It's made by Norfolk as well. That jobby was 17,000 rand. It's got also 2 ports on it, all the cleaning extractions. The filter, it shakes every now and again to shake the dust off and all that kind of thing. But by the way, this little blue one, the little 1,200 rand, little button, you press it, it shakes the dust off the tube. You've got a manual, you can just shake, bang it a couple of times on the button, it shakes the filter and it drops the dust off it. That's capable. Not 100% efficient, but it'll do the job while wherever you are. Okay. But yes, certainly look at extraction. Go start with cheap and nasty, work your way out. Please, for goodness sake, earth your equipment if you're doing extraction, eh? I thought I had mine done. Anyway. Okay, the work, why a workbench? Why do you want a workbench? Dave, I've got one.
My wife just said when I work on the kitchen table.
Not untrue.
Like I've never done that, so. Seriously, did you get a little bit upset?
You know, we're not funny that way. No offense.
Right, okay, so in case you're using the kitchen table, right, so why would you need a workbench in the first place? Okay, so first of all, because you need, and guys, this is important, a steady and level space to work on. Who of you have used tables that walk? Yeah. And who of you use tables that have got wheels on them? And they walk. No, they run. There's nothing worse than working on this thing, and then the next one you've got your foot jammed behind it, and you're trying to do something. That doesn't work, man. Okay? Okay, you need a place to easily reach for and access your tools. Our first table has always been the floor. And again, you know, you've got the, and then you need to get that tool, and you. Okay, so you want a place where everything is where you want it, okay? You want a place to build your project on. Okay, so do the cutting, the sanding, the routing, whatever you need to do. You want somewhere to do that on top of it, okay? You need a place to assemble your project. So once you've got everything put together and you're going to first dry fit it, let's go through the motions. You want a place to do that, and it's level, and it's square. Nothing worse than trying to make a table on a skewed table or a bowed table. Okay, how do you level this thing? Oh, back onto the floor. Somewhere to cut, drill, chisel, plane, sand, joint, glue, nail, screw, file, varnish, paint, and so on. Okay, try to cover as much as I could. Maybe we can add another 2 or 3 in there. Okay, is that enough reason why you need a table? You probably can think of a couple of more. Yeah, you want something comfortable, you know. Yeah, it's massive. So in this case, a workbench will help you make your shop time more enjoyable. I'm telling you what, I'm not short. But my first table was one of those tables in a box that you buy, that you assemble, those slatted racks underneath it. You know what I'm talking about, the little wheels. I don't have that table anymore. It got burnt. And I seriously mean it got burnt. I hated that table. From the day I put it together until the day I got rid of it, I hated that table. That was my first table. And then after that, I seriously had to sit down and start working out. I need a table, I need something decent. That table ate my back up. It moved all over the place. The top was made out of, I don't think it was pine, it was probably artificial pine because it was like foam. If you made a dent on it, you hit it, dropped your hammer on it, it made a crater in the table. It was the worst thing I ever had in my workshop. Then I sat down and started thinking about this to put a decent table in place. Started doing some research, and it took a while. It wasn't just sort of a day and a night and then put it together. I wanted something that could work for me, something that would make me, and I'll tell you what, enjoy what I was doing. And when I finished the table, it was an absolute pleasure to stand there and no stress on your back. You put something together, it's in front of you. Your tools are around you. There's a tool well behind it. Your tools are where you want them. It's there. It's just such a pleasure. It just motivated you to get going and get things done. You've got your passion for woodworking. Now you're motivated to get going. That table is calling you all the time. And like I said to you now, my table is a workpiece, not a piece of art. And I learned so much when I put that table together. The amount of things I had to learn, how to build a table. I thought, it's 4 legs and a top. Yeah, right. When you start this project, and then you realize, hang on a minute, there's much more to this table than what meets the eye. The things that I learned out of it, how to square things up, what type of joints to use for a table, the weight of the table, the height of the table, the width, the length, all of that starts coming into play. And you know what else? I learned so much in terms of helping me and skilling me up to the next level of my carpentry or my woodworking. I started learning things, how to sand that. I sanded that top that it looked like it was as flat as you could be. Only to know that I'm going to put a saw blade through it at some point. That's going to happen. It's not a display piece, it's a workpiece. And that's what it should. Make it perfect because that's who you are. That table took me to the next level. It taught me things that I didn't know. I had to research things. A simple table, man.
Next about height, buddy.
Okay, I'm going to cover that.
That's
It's critical.
You're a tall guy.
Very critical. I think
very critical.
the shortest guy over here, you won't work comfortably on my table. You're going to be somewhere up there. Why should you build your own workbench? Okay, so now let's talk about these issues. This is where we're starting to get into the nitty-gritty now. Customization. Everybody has their own idea of what a table should be. Okay, so there's 7 billion people on the planet, and statistically, it's quite possible that 2 people are going to come up with the same idea for a table. Highly unlikely, but statistically possible. Okay? But every table that you make is unique to you. It's you, it's your character, it's your trademark, it signifies you. Everyone has their own idea of what would be the best workbench. You're going to make it to suit you for what you're doing. We don't do the same thing. Some guys are doing lathe work and they're going to turn stuff, so they need a table to put their piece on that table. It needs to be a big table, maybe 1.2 by maybe 900 for the pieces that they're turning. It's governed by the size, the maximum size of what they turn. Alright. Put it on the table. Maybe they make some real heavy stuff, so it's going to be strong enough to hold the heavy stuff. It's long pieces that they make. The bed's only 1 meter long or wide, so they can only make up to a meter. So they need 1.2. It's sufficient for them. They don't need longer than that. Unless they're going to join pieces together, then they're going to create a second table as a sort of like an outfitting table. Okay? And this is how they evolve it. But your primary table is the one that you're going to go to for your inspiration and to build your inspiration. Okay? That's the one you're going to work with. The workbench height. Okay, so now we cover this topic, and there's a lot of papers on it, a lot of documentation on it. The height is important. It's the height that you work with is the one that's going to give you the satisfaction of working at the table. Too high, and it affects the upper body. Too low, and it affects the lower body. Just right. Sounds like Goldilocks there for me. it gives you the pleasure of working at that table. So now, after a lot of research, I worked out that there are 3 heights that you need to consider. The general sort of rule out there is your table should be, they say waist height, now that's there. But the other rule says, and that's the more common one, says the table height should be here. Collar, shirt collar, yeah, is the height. For all the average work that you do. But if you're going to do a lot of planing and sanding and stuff on flat boards, you need to go down into it. So that height doesn't put the right amount of pressure down. It's a little bit lower down that gives you the better pressure. So in other words, it should be another 150 mils lower. And if you're assembling, it should be another 150 mils higher. And finishing, and that type of thing. So there's 3 heights. So whatever height you select as your collar height, or wrist height if you want to call it that, 150 down and 150 up. So that means you end up with 3 tables, not 1. So in fact I do. I have 3 tables. And I have one for finishing, one for working on, and the other one for all the general stuff that I need to do. Okay? And cutting, whatever the case may be. Alright. So in your case, what are you going to do? I would say go for the one that's that height. Some people say waist height. It's easy to do this. Maybe find the table. Maybe you've got a little table that you're working with. Raise it on blocks or something to bring it to the height that is recommended. Try it out. Do some stuff on it and see how it works after a couple of hours, not a couple of minutes. You'll notice, you'll say, gosh, I don't have that bit in my back, that niggle in my back. Or gosh, it hasn't hit my shoulders. Then you know you've hit the right spot. You've hit the right height. Try it out, experiment it. Because remember, that's where you're going to do your labor, is at that table. Get it wrong and you're not going to have fun doing it. Does that make sense to you? Okay. So that's the workbench height. That's the suggestion that comes out. And I followed that guideline and it worked for me. Okay. So I feel a lot less fatigued when I'm working at the different height tables. All right, yes?
Basically, you can also just have average or comfortable size bench and
lift it.
you can have a piece of wood that you stand on.
Or a box, yes, okay.
A box.
Or you can go extreme and get 2, what's those, car jacks?
Yeah.
And then you just wind them to the height, just put stops in place and then wind them back down to get to the lowest level. You can do that. Okay, so there's also another option. I've seen those tables floating around. Guys have done that. Yeah, good comment. Okay. Workbench size. So again, what is the size of your workbench? Well, it's determined by the real estate or the area that you're in. You know, if you're working in your garage and you still need to park a motor car in there or vehicle in there, you know, you're now governed by a certain amount of space to build that table. You know, you can only go maybe 600 wide, but maybe you can go 2 meters long. You know, you can do a table of that there. Or you can go 900 and then 1.2 because it's in a corner or something. So you need to work out what is the best real estate for you. Okay, so, you know, in my case, the bigger the better. So my table is 2.4 by 1.2. And I love my table. I absolutely love it. So I've got to cut it on this end. I can walk around to that side. I can work on that side. My tool welds in the middle. So it makes a big difference for me. But that's if you've got the space. If you don't have that space, not doable. Or you can make a table my size and box it. Cut it in half. Make 2 boxes. So that you can maybe move it outside. But I mean, the weather here is quite good. Don't have rain all the time like we've got now. You can move it outside, work outside. Just make sure you wear a hat. So there's a number of options you can exercise. So size of the workbench, work out what your size is. So if you're going to carry on with this this particular workshop, go work out what the size is that you're going to work that you need. And you want to mimic what we're putting together. You know, sizing things is not an issue. You're just going to make yours a little bit longer or shorter or a little bit wider or narrower. Do you understand? But you'll still get to the end point, and that's a table, a work table, a workbench. Okay? Alright, so have a look at that. The workbench design. In this case, when you start creating that workbench, the amount of skill that you currently have is going to determine what type of workbench you're going to have. Okay? So if you're kind of a novice, invariably you're going to try and find information out there. You're going to go look at YouTube, and you may even go and purchase some plans somewhere or find plans off the internet or something, which is invariably what we do. You'll look at the plans and you won't be 100% happy with what you've got, and you may start doing some modifications on that. Does that make sense to you? Then that's what you're going to start working with, okay? That'll be your guide. And then you're going to learn everything else in terms of how to put that table with from there. The bench quality, you can make sure that the workbench maintains a high standard because you're building this. This is the representation of what you can do, what you're capable of doing. So then you're going to make that bench as high a quality as possible so that you will enjoy it. But don't go and make something that's going to become a masterpiece, your Mona Lisa. Okay? And then you go to look at it and say, oh gosh, I don't want to work on that, it's such an awesome looking piece. Then what did you achieve? Nothing. Okay, well, yeah, you learned a lot. But then you're going to use it as a showpiece. And I'm sure if you're in a garage, wife is going to say to you, what is that table for? Trust me, she'll find a use for it. And you know she's going to. She's just taken up, what's it, pyrography, eh? Pyrography. And then you've got all these burn marks on it. So you should have used it for the table that you wanted it for. Eh? Okay. Workbench materials, you can use the best wood to suit your budget. Now that's the other thing. We're living in a country where, unfortunately, wood isn't cheap. Even the pine isn't cheap in this country. One of the big box stores, I was surprised, we're bringing in, the pine variant, the better quality pine that they sell out in the States and Europe. The white pine. Oregon? No, not Oregon. Spruce. They were selling the spruce cheaper than the PAR pine that we get in our own country. It was imported. The spruce was cheaper than the PAR pine that you could pick, or par pine. So our wood is expensive. So,
where's the best places to buy wood?
okay, the guys, are you out? Which area are you in this area? Randburg. What is this?
Country Woods, Eco Timbers, and
Yeah, Maple. I'm out on the east side. I get it from Maple Street. The Country Woods and Eco Timbers. Shop around for your wood.
Also, if you go to the Royal Merlin, if you're on the Strand,
Yeah.
they've got some very interesting timbers there.
Yeah, they have. That's where
Some are exorbitant, but the spruce.
that spruce was the cheapest. Yeah, that was the cheapest. I bought as much as I could carry.
If you want Rhodesian teak,
Yes.
there's a place on the M14 that you can get Rhodesian teak.
Okay, can I have a comment on Rhodesian teak quickly here? So one of my workbenches I did do was out of Rhodesian teak. What did I learn? I learned how to sharpen my blades. Okay, good move. Do I use that table? It's a showpiece that's stuck in a corner somewhere. It's not even worth it.
So what is a typical wood for a, like what, pine, or is it a better quality? What's the, I mean, I'm not talking like a super expensive, but what is the ideal wood then for a workbench? Weight-wise?
Okay, I'm going to cover that topic.
Okay.
Do you want to just hang on? Okay, no, it's a valid question. Right, so let's just have a look at speaking of the best wood to suit your budget. Okay, so I think if you guys go and look at the price of wood, and you were thinking of doing it in ash or whatever the case may be, and maple and so on, and walnut or whatever, once you go and look at the pricing, I think you're going to quickly change your mind, okay? I know that, you will. Let me know. Techniques. By making it yourself, you can make sure that the bench that you create and design is stable and flat. Okay, like I said to you, nothing worse than working on a rickety, wobbly, skewed table when you're trying to assemble something, I promise you. Even if you make a small side table, a side dresser or whatever, and that table is skewed, I can freak out. I go to a place, and the guys have got a skewed table, and I'm trying to put something up there, and it's all flat and wobbly. You know, how are you going to square this thing up? You just can't. There's no, okay, maybe that's where the spirit level comes in handy. Maybe that's where it comes in handy. I should think of that. No. But I'm telling you, have you guys ever experienced something like that? The cabinet guys, you've experienced that. Eh? Trying to put something together that's all skew and rickety.
Well, usually the houses aren't built square. That's the biggest problem.
That's why we exist. Eh? There is money in this game for us because they come to you and say, "I've got a size, that side, yay wide, that big, that," and I know, and I've just bought this put together thing and it doesn't want to fit. Can you fix it for me? Yeah, sure. That's what we do. Oh, geez, you did a good job. Don't you want? I need a headboard, and then that's how it goes. And then their friend wants a headboard, and then okay, then you're in business. We're on the next one. There we go. Right. Why should you build your own workbench? Workbench costs. It's often cheaper. It is to build your own workbench than to buy one. So that manufactured bench that I bought, today's price is about 1,800 Rand. I'll make a workbench that's going to work for me, and it's not going to walk, and it's going to be level, and it's going to do the job for about 600 Rand. And you can buy the same one, or similar, for 1,800. It's got wheels. Practice. The point of woodworking is to improve your skills. Okay? It's a constant evolution. And what better way to do it than to start on your own table? Mortise and tenons. Learn the terminology, the feet, the base, the struts, the aprons. What are all these things? How to fit a vise. I'll be honest with you, that's not the easy. Who's built a workbench? Anybody built a workbench? Did you put a vise in? Did you fit a vise? It was easy, eh? It's so easy.
I think also another point I'd like to make is, you know, when you make a workbench, and it helped me, was that I made this workbench and I was happy with it, and then I spoke to Kwesi. He was standing right there. And then he looked at the workbench and said, oh, it's beautiful, but you put one of your vices on the wrong side.
Right. Now look, it happens, eh?
Yeah, so I had to go back and change it.
Yeah, but you know what you learn. Now you know which side it goes on.
Exactly.
Okay? And which vice where.
Yep.
There's a ton of things you're going to learn from this. I promise you, you're not going to walk away empty-handed. Even if you know how to put 4 legs on a piece of wood at the top, you've learned something. Because there is a way to do that. Well, a number of ways. See? Alright. So that's what you're going to get out of putting this table together, is the skills that you're going to acquire en route, and there is a ton of skills you're going to pick up, okay? And that's the advantage of putting and also creating your own table. On this one, just to conclude, whether you want the workbench to be a simple one, or you want to make sure that it is of high quality, there's a lot of reasons why you want to create and build your own workbench, okay? You want a workbench, you want something as simple as that, but you want cabinets to put your stuff in underneath there, because you want to have easy access to your screws. It's all dictated by your environment as to what type of workbench you're going to put together. My workbenches don't have anything underneath it. My stuff's all up against the wall. I go there and fetch everything. Okay? You may want to create a workbench where you can put a trolley in underneath it with all your stuff in it. You understand? So there's so many variations that come out of this. Like I said in the beginning, statistically speaking, 2 people can end up making the same workbench, but it's highly unlikely. Okay? Everybody's workbench is going to be different. Alright? There's some classes that I give for guys to come and make workbenches. Even there, they're working off the same plan. And the one guy will say to me, I don't want a 1.2 by 600, can I have a 1.2 by 800? So already I've got a variation on the same table. Do you understand that? And the other guy says, no, I like a 1.2 by 600, can I put wheels on it? Already there's a variation. I want a 1.2 by 600, but I want a base on it so I can put my stuff on the bottom of it. It's another variation. And it's just out of the basic table. Does that make sense to you? So it will materialize into something different. Alright, so there's a comment down at the bottom, and it says, and this is something that you should really take to heart if you're serious about this and you're passionate about this. Build the bench for the woodworker you hope to become, not the woodworker that you currently are. Okay? When you finish that bench, you have acquired a new set of skills. And you're going to carry that over to the next thing that you're going to build and acquire an additional set of skills. And so this will go on and on. Am I right, Dave? You're still learning, Dave. Every day. I'm still learning. I do something and I say, gosh, I should have tried that. Wow, this is brilliant. I didn't think of this. And you keep on learning this. I don't think there's anybody that knows absolutely everything about woodworking. Yes?
How important is it to have a 100% level workflow?
Okay. It's not, I'm not going to say it's 100%, it's not really important, but it is going to be important depending on what you're building. So say for example, you're building another table on top of the table. You know, to line that top up properly. You've got a reference that you can work with that it's 100% flat and level. Then it's going to work for you. If you're assembling mid-century furniture with little skinny legs, then it's definitely important to have a 100% level table. It's all right to go to the client's house and put the thing down on the rocks. Then you can say to him, sorry man, your floor. And they're going to say, no, your legs. You say, your floor. And then you move it around and then suddenly it's steady. But now it's not sitting where they want. You say, no, it's level. Your floor. And you just said to me, they're not square. So in that case, it takes that argument away and it makes you confident that you've put out the proper piece of work. But okay, so maybe that's not what you're doing. You're just doing, making jewelry boxes, or you're turning pens, or you're assembling small items and so on. Okay, generally level is good enough, I think. But pieces of wood are flat and generally planed quite well and reasonably flat. So I think it should work for you.
I'll tell you why, because I see on YouTube you have a lot of the torsion tabletops.
Yes.
I was thinking maybe going really extreme, putting the granite top on and then a piece of MDF on top of it. Then I know
that you're 100%.
if I'm cutting, I cut on top of the MDF.
Yeah.
I'll whip that off if I want.
I actually did think about it because I had a spare piece of granite from one of the apartments that I renovated. And I was thinking exactly the same thing. But you know what? The MDF is flat there. So I just put on my cutting table, I just have 2 layers of 21mm ply from Balkans, and then I put the MDF on the top. That's my sacrificial piece. So I make 4 of those at the beginning of the year. And as I go through them, when they knacker, just toss them and put another piece on top. All part of the shop prep. So, yeah, I hear you. I don't think, it's workable. And you know what the other advantage is? You're not going to have a walking table. So that's definitely going to sit still.
Yeah. I was just thinking like if you get into things like grandfather clocks, you want it assembly, you want it
100% flat, yeah. That's interesting. I know a guy who does repairs. I should actually ask him, what does his top look like? What is his top look made of? Sure, for most part, I've not come across exotics like that. It's mostly just wooden tables that I have. And then the other option is I have a steel table as well. I have a 10mm steel table.
Yeah.
So I'll use that. But at least you're guaranteed over that, the length and the width, it's going to stay flat on its frame. But okay, I don't disassemble on it. That I use for other things, hammering, chisels, welding. Okay. Right, but good comment. As long as it's flat for whatever you're working with, make sure you're satisfied that it's giving you the results that you want at the end of it. Nothing worse than building a table on a table that's skewed. And then when you finish with this whole thing and you're trying to put the aprons and stuff on, and then suddenly you see these things are all skewed and running out of, and you've got to sit there and try and plane it down and make it visually look good, but you know in your heart that this thing is actually a total mess. Don't get too emotional over the project. Right, so how do you start all this? Are you guys okay? Do you want to have a quick break? I think let's have a quick break. Some guys are nodding off over here. Do you want to have a quick break and we'll come in and we'll do the home stretch, okay? Guys, let's just cut this one down in 10 minutes at 10 past 12. Let's get going again. Okay, alright guys, let's all kind of start wrapping up. We're going to start moving towards the end and just have a quick chat about the next session. Right, so how do you start this whole process? So we've spoken, and we've spoken, and we've spoken, okay? Now you need to think about how you start this whole process. So, okay, I'm going to just give you my experience. So when I started looking at building a workbench, thank goodness for the internet, because I don't know how else I would have started. But I kind of scrounged around on the internet, and eventually I came across this book, The Workbench Design Book by Christopher Schwartz. It's the art and philosophy of building better benches. Now look, I don't know if you're an avid reader or not, but the guy's got a nice writing style, and I kind of sat down and suddenly realized that there's a world of benches out there. It's not just one bench, there's a world of them. And the guy goes into, basically, he gets philosophical about a workbench. So it's something, if you're into reading books, and especially woodworking books, I don't know, I've not found a copy here locally, but it's certainly available in the Kindle format off Amazon. So if you're really keen on, have a look at the reviews, hunt around and have a look at it and see if it's something that you could work with. I really got a lot of inspiration out of the book, and it gave me a lot of ideas, and I ended up sketching a lot of stuff and making notes. There's a couple of plans in there, a couple of workbenches that he discusses and so on, but it will give you food for thought. and you can sort of take that and launch that off to the next level, okay, to building the bench. The next one is Google is definitely your friend in this case. Okay, if you are anti-Google, then go and use DuckDuck or whoever else is your search engine. But again, the time that you spend, don't get missed.
And YouTube.
YouTube is really good.
Yeah, no, Google will get you to YouTube. So go Google workbenches, look at pictures, pick on pictures, go to YouTube. Got it? Then left at the red traffic light. Alright, yeah. But go and use those resources. They're there. There's tons of stuff. I mean, for the last 10 years, I'm ignoring you. In the last 10 years, things have expanded enormously in terms of information out there. So go and have a look at it. There's tons of stuff. And then again, get totally overwhelmed, and then walk away, and then come back and start again, okay? Because that's really what's going to happen. You're going to do that a couple of times.
Another useful site I find incredible is Pinterest.
Yeah. Ideal.
Scary stuff.
There's millions of things, but be careful, guys, especially on the woodworking side. There's a lot of scamming and stuff with regards to the woodworking guys. Okay, they take you off to sites that are riddled with viruses and all kinds of nonsense because they think we're done. We don't know what's going on. In most cases, the amateurs do use those sites, and then the machines get ripped apart with viruses and stuff. So make sure, if you're working on it, that you've got good, proper blockers on your browsers. Okay, make sure you've got that in place. So please, I like Pinterest to a certain degree, but I also notice there's a lot of nonsense going on. So I kind of just sidestep Pinterest. You'll find what you're looking for. Okay, if you and you know, some of the guys mentioned some of the YouTubers out there. You will get sort of linked to them and hooked to them. They're your kind of style, and that's why you're going and seeing what they've got. They will also mention when they collaborate with somebody else. These guys are doing these cross collaborations now, and they will branch off into another area and say, oh gosh, and then you look at that guy and he'll cross collaborate with somebody else again. So that'll open and broaden up your horizons for you. Okay, but certainly make use of the internet to get to where you want to go. Okay, spend time well spent is going to make it worth it in the end. Okay, all right. So it will be really worth it in the long run. The other option is to purchase a set of plans for a workbench. That will give you a starting point. And I think for the amateur, that's really the way to go because, number one, what are you going to learn out of that experience? You're going to learn that that's not really what you want. You need to modify it. So you're going to have to try and acquire an additional skill. That means you may need to draw those plans up or enhance those plans. So it's going to teach you how to do that as well. Okay. So there's a couple of benefits, and of course it's also out of the box. Probably 90% of it, 80% of it you can make use of. You just need to modify around it. So it's a good starting point, all right? So certainly do have a look at that. Yep.
What design tools do you recommend, sort of amateur entry level?
To design this?
Yeah, to draw your designs.
A piece of paper, man, a pencil. Hey, what do you want to get fancy with your Apple iPad with your drawings?
No, I'm just asking how they sketch things.
Piece of paper, man. You agree with me? Piece of paper, John? Hey, what do you say? John, I mean, piece of paper. Who else says piece of paper?
And a ruler.
Oh, and a ruler.
It's more to get the scale right and things like that.
I don't need
Just sketch a table with 4 legs and just say, I want it 1.2. Don't scale it, man. Just do it.
But the important dimensions on the sketch.
If you want good design software,
Don't teach defense, man.
Fusion 360 will do it.
Okay, someone to talk about.
Just use graph painting.
Where to begin? Sorry guys, nowadays it's not really that clear for me. That was a bad choice. Anyway, you're going to get the presentation. Alright, there's a place called Tool Emera. You can go and have a look at that. They've got millions of publications on woodworking. And I mean millions. From going back into the 18th century. So seriously, you can go and pick out on there for days and get stuff, okay? You can also go to Instructables. I think some of you guys will know about Instructables. Go and hit Instructables. Those guys that are up there on Instructables are good. They come up there to show you how to make a basic thing. But go back to their websites and their YouTube channels and you're going to see the class work those guys can do. You'll pick up some really interesting stuff. And of course, Instructables has got, man, there's a world of stuff inside there. Okay? The workbenchdesign.com website speaks for itself. Okay, go and have a look there. Out of the woodworking websites, there's a couple of them. The one that I felt was the better one in the long term, Popular Woodworking, because most of their editors always end up writing the books that you guys are buying or reading. Okay, so certainly go and have a look at that as a site for good inspiration. Of course, YouTube I was going to put Pinterest in there, but I think I was just being a little bit prejudiced to a certain degree. But make use of it, guys. Okay? I just stay away from it because I know there's a lot of rubbish going on around it. So. But yes, there are. There's diagrams and pictures and drawings and all sorts of stuff. So certainly, I have a Pinterest account, but like I say, it's not my first place. I'll go and hunt around everywhere else. Okay. Okay, where to begin? Just an extra slide. You can have a look at. This was the book that I referred you to from Christopher. Was his second book. This is his first book. Okay, this is the From Design and Theory to Construction and Use. And this one goes more. You should have actually brought the red one out before the blue one. Okay, that would have made more sense. But the red book came out after the blue one, right? So the philosophy. So backwards. But anyway, you can have a look at that one. It has been revised, I think, in 2017. It's been updated. It's a good one. It's got some plans in there as well. This guy's a pro in terms of putting workbenches together, okay? And he talks, you know, from the heart. Workbench is his world. And if it's not right, nothing else is right. Okay, so in a nutshell. Okay, next one. There's another one. Also a very good book. This is Scott Landis's book. The Workbench, Workbench book, and Craftsman's Guide to Workbench for every type of woodworking. Go and read it. He goes right back, about 300 years back, on the design of workbenches and starts taking you forward in the journey. And there's some really good inspirational pieces in that book. So again, if you get hold of it, have a look at it. Okay, try and scrounge around for it. Okay. All right.
That's got wheels on it.
So the thing that you, I don't know if it's wheels or shavings, I don't know. So the thing that you as a woodworker need to know is that you're supposed to template the things that you are going to create, okay? Prototype them. So you've got an idea of what you're doing. And sometimes you need to prototype things full scale. So you can see that it's going to be functional, it's going to work. So normally you take scrap pieces of wood and MDF, which is the tool of choice, and you prototype on that. Now in your case, what will work for you is use a piece of cardboard. It'll give you a visualization of what your workbench will look like. So yeah, it's a corrugated piece of card cut up to make your workbench. That's it. If you want to make any changes and modifications, don't go to the real boy, you go to that one. It's cheaper and easier. Do you get the idea? Do it out of that, or I've seen guys prototype out of wood. They make a real little miniature of what they want. And then they put it down and they just keep on being inspired around this. And they say, no, I need to do this and I'll take that away and add that on. And eventually they got the idea and then they work. But now the point is that once you've got your prototype in place, it will help you keep your focus. Don't move off the track. Keep your focus and get this project done now, okay? If you don't like it at the end of it, put it on Marketplace and sell it and then go and start a whole new one again. Okay, I'm sure somebody will like what you made. It will help you to keep your focus, allows you to easily make changes to your design, and seriously, will it get through the door? So my wife reminds me of this particular one. I asked her just to review the presentation. She says, "Do you remember?" She said, "Did it go through the door?" Maybe you want to put that in for this. Has it ever happened to you, Dave?
Yeah. Very
big door.
Yes.
No, when I started, I was a very humble guy. I had a normal, regular door. Finished building this thing and it wouldn't go through the door. And I looked at it and I said, and now what? And your whole body just goes, oh, you mean I've got to take this thing apart? Do not skip this step of prototyping, okay? If you get this in your head that you prototype what you're going to build, I promise you it's going to be a success factor every time. Who prototypes before starting? Okay, will it work? Does it work for you? Any mods and changes on the prototype? Visualize it, see it, go do it. Okay, yeah, so the rest of you kind of just go along and until eventually it works. Eh? Sketch it. Yeah, I suppose so. But there's nothing like a touchy-feely.
Some details I'll do, like pocket holding or some join.
Okay, I mean, you can't. Yeah, right. You'll test that on a piece of wood. Yeah, okay, I'm with you. But prototype your bench, yes.
On my side, the prototype wasn't the actual workbench that I'm using now. So I just started with some sawhorses, and then used it as a workbench for a while, and then it gave me a sense of what I was missing and so on, and then that's when I started doing the design on it.
Yeah, they make yourself a set of trestles. So yeah, you want to start at that end of the spectrum, by all means. Yeah, no, but you're right. I think most of it kind of work from a trestle piece of wood to, that was me, to where you are now, yeah. Okay. Materials and hardware. What wood should I use for my workbench? Okay, so use whatever wood you can afford. So if you're well heeled, go for ash. Or oak. Go for it. 200-year-old oak. Go for it. Okay? You're like the rest of us, and you're going to go for pine. It's going to work. It'll do the same thing. It's a table. If you want to change it to make it look like something, remember, pine can fake and make itself believe that it's anything out there. Most woods can pretend to be pine. Or pine can pretend to be most woods. Workbenches are traditionally built from beech, but can also be built from white oak, maple, walnut, ash, and many other woods, but those are really expensive in our country. Okay, that's the downside. Pine makes for a good compromise and is both well priced and hardy. Any objection on that, Dave? Pine works, eh? Looks not going to fall apart on you. The table's going to be a table. You can work on it, you can cut on it, you can hammer on it, you can fix it, you can build, you can prototype, you can do whatever you want on it. It's made out of pine, it's still a good wood. You can also mix woods for different parts of the table, for example. So you can maybe, for example, go, because the big parts would be the legs, make it out of pine. Then do your aprons out of oak if you really want to make it a bit different, okay? And then maybe use beech or something. Beech is expensive. I wouldn't use beech on a table. Seriously, wouldn't do that. Make more money out of furniture on the beech than the table. And then MDF or plywood for the top. You know, the MDF is a good choice. I use MDF because it's flat and it's easy to put the holes into your bench top. So it works. It's a good all-rounder, and it's cheap. So if I trash it, I'm not scared to hurt it. If it's finished and it's done its job, throw it away and put another one on top. Okay, so that's and that's what we're going to do with our workbench. Can I have an MDF top? Right, what hardware should I use for my workbench? Now look, the hardware is really just simply devices, okay? That's really the maximum amount of hardware that you want to put on there. So you should have at least one vise, and that would be the front vise mounted front left. Okay, am I right? If you're right-handed, yeah, front left. Left-handed, front right.
Yeah.
Alright, a second vise, as an optional, is mounted on the side. So you normally put it up on the side here, okay? Now there's a whole story around the vices. We'll have a session on that and we'll discuss that in detail with you and take you through on that, okay? I don't want to go through all the points on a vice, but you do need a vice. And the vice needs to be sturdy. It must be able to grip what you're working with, okay? And work properly. There's a lot of things you do around a vice, okay? And a tool can be, a tool well can be designed permanently into the top or as a removable tool well. So what I mean, here's a tool well on this table over here. You can see, so you drop all your tools and your screws and your whatever goes in there, so they don't lie all over the place or fall off the table or whatever. So as I said to you, mine's in the middle, okay, of the table. And that works for me. Some of the guys, because of the size of the table, they move them in, say from the wall in the garage into the center of the garage, and their tool wells are mounted so they can hang it onto or attach it to the table. Okay, so you can either put it in the front or at the back, and then they can work with it. When they finish it, just take it off, push it against the wall, and just maybe put it on the top of the table, push it back against the wall. So entirely how you want to do it. But I tell you what, if you've never used the tool well, you don't know what you're missing. You do know what you're missing. It's certainly something that works for you. Okay, it makes a big difference. Alright, and then the holes in the top will then be 20mm diameter holes for the use of your bench dogs and your clamps, because all the products that you now use for the benches work with the 20mm diameter holes. Okay, so that would mean you need to get yourself something like a Forstner that you can drill the holes through and so on. Okay, right, so that's generally the hardware. So if you have a look at it, not a lot of hardware that's going to go into that. Okay? And if you want wheels, well then you can put your wheels on it. I'm not a fan of wheels on the table. Good, next one. Alright, let's go through a couple of mistakes that we make on our tables. So, when you're working with your workbench and you're designing it, okay, a couple of mistakes that always creep in is first of all the height. Okay, we've discussed the topic of height, but I just want to raise it with you again. And now this time round, I said waist height. Okay, so I'm giving you both options. The one that I worked with was the up to wrist height, okay, and then 150 above, 150 below. Okay, other way around. So you sorted it. I had a word with Dave about that. The scissor jacks, if you want to raise them up and down, you can work out some mechanism. You guys are engineers of sorts, so some tubing to guide it so it goes up and so you can lift it up and down. Okay, those things can hold a couple of tons on the table, so there shouldn't be any issue. The wood types, Guys, don't spend too much time worrying about the type of wood that you're going to be using, okay? When any type of wood will work adequately for you, okay? So don't go and get yourself caught up in that trap. Don't worry about it. Just start with something. Maybe if it doesn't work, do it again. You're going to learn to do it quicker and faster and better, okay? No harm and nothing done in that case, okay? You want wood that is affordable, heavy, and easy to obtain, and please make sure it's dry, okay? Otherwise, you are going to have a bit of an issue, okay? So when you go and purchase your wood, always look at the back of the pile. The dry stuff's always at the back. Why? Because they keep loading all the wet stuff in front and you taking the wet stuff all the time. You want the good stuff that's sitting at the back. Make them move everything. That's their job, man. The wrong vice. Okay, listen to this. There are vices and vices. Again, I mean as in woodwork vice and metalwork vice. Okay? You'll get used to whatever vice you have. Okay? You will grow into it. But it's good to have a high quality vice. Also aim to install an end vice if it's possible for you. Okay? Alright, so we'll have a separate topic on that one and discuss it thoroughly with you. Okay? The dogs or the holdfast holes, okay, so yes, these are typically the holdfast, the dogs would be the round ones. Think about your specific end vice before deciding how far to space your dog holes. Now this little comment that I've made is probably going to confuse you. You're probably looking and saying, I don't know what the heck he's talking about. You won't know what I'm talking about until we actually show you what we're talking about, okay? So this is a topic that haunts the guys that have put vices onto who's put a vice on their table. Your holdfast, bit of an issue for you. Because you don't know how many holes to make and how far apart and whatever the case may be. So we'll go through that and give you suggestions of where to put them and how to put them. Okay, so that's a bit of a daunting one, alright? Not the end of the world, you can do it. But the point that I made here is put a few of them where you expect them to do most of your work, and then drill a few more if you need them later on, okay? So don't put a whole lot in and then not need them. As you need them, put the holes in, okay? For your whole process. Right, guys, seriously now. Waiting for just the right time. There's no such thing as the right time in this game. Stop procrastinating. Your project will go better with proper planning and preparation and plans. That's why we said to you, prototype. Then you know what you've got to do. Get a cut list and get going. Okay? Stop procrastinating. Don't worry about, oh, I don't have the right wood, or I'm going to wait for that wood, or should I get that wood, or I'll save it. Don't. Get going. So what have you got to make 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or how many tables have you made? Just one. Okay. So I put them in count. Dave. You're going to make these things, and I tell you what, they will always be repurposed for something. Eh? Your first table is still alive and well.
My daughter's got it.
There we go. It's a heirloom. I mean, heirloom.
And it was repurposed.
Yeah. Some people do make workbenches that they intend to have them as an heirloom that gets handed down from generation to generation. There's a fact that people do that type of thing. Just the tops get replaced. So yeah, you know, this is it. But just get on with it. Just do it. Get going. Get going. Your first one will never be the Mona Lisa, like I said. They will get there. But you'll learn a lot along the road. You need to think, I can't build it without a tool. A lot of you guys fall into that trap. Same as the previous point. The tools available to us are absolutely amazing. You don't need them to do great work, all the tools. A lot of the 5 tools I mentioned earlier on, plus a couple of the hand tools, are going to do everything that you need to do. Okay, people have built great and sturdy workbenches for centuries. Before Festool and even before the CNCs and even before electricity. Go and read those books, you're going to find out. You're going to see some of those benches, you're going to say, oh yeah, gosh, that's one of the benches I saw the other day in a shop. Go and find out when they made that thing. 1724. You're going to turn around and say, what the hell? That bench there? Yes, that's what, and now you're going to start asking yourself, how did they do that? The same as you're going to do it. No different. I guess we're going to use electricity. Right, yes, go get the best tools you can afford, but you can do a lot with just the ordinary circular saw that you have, or even a jigsaw. You'll be amazed. Your skills are going to go around that. Do you understand? You're going to build up a whole new set of skills. In this case, less is better. Doing it all alone. Alrighty, the solitary game, eh? So a nice bench can be a big project. Some of us have a tendency to do everything by ourselves. And this is a well-known fact. We do all our woodworking stuff by ourselves. But you know what? it's difficult for us to sort of accept help. You know, somebody says, "I'll come and help you." You know, kind of, a bit proud. I'm okay. We'll sort it out. We'll get it done. You know, sometimes asking for a little help is the smart thing to do. It gets the job done. Tell you what, when it came to filling the vices, I wasn't shy to ask for help. That, right, I promise you, I did really have sleepless nights about it. I'd wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning thinking, first thing was that vice on my head. You know, that thing. Then eventually I said, you know what, I'm giving in on this. I went and go spoke to Peter Substitute. I said, you've got to help me with this, man. Yeah, sure, what's the problem? Hour and a half later, it's done. I'm looking at thinking, oh gosh, I should just asked. Days of sitting trying to work this out. Stressing about a nice bench. Look, no matter how nice you make your bench and how nice it looks, and you stepping back and admiring it, remember it's still a workbench, eh? That guy's going to get hurt. It's going to get damaged. It's going to get broken. It's the job of the workbench, okay? So put it together, okay? And go and enjoy what you make on it. That's what you're going to do. Enjoy making that workbench because that's your project. And then enjoy the projects that you do on top of it, okay? Just relax and use your table. Don't turn around and say, oh no, I'm not going to cut anything on that. Oh man, I've spent hours planning it to get it so flat. Look at that finish or whatever. Get your kid in there with a chisel and say, look, just do a couple of things there and come back and get over it and then get going. Okay? Damage is done. Okay, so the bottom line is that a sturdy, reliable and hopefully ergonomic workbench is the start of your woodworking journey. Okay? Have fun. And I hope that your bench comes out great, okay? And I promise you it will. Don't let anybody tell you your workbench looks bad. It's going to look good, no matter how you put it together, okay? I mean, I can tell you stories of how I put benches together for people. 2 ladies came in and did a workbench, and they were so excited. A couple of hours later, they had a fully functional workbench. They were pewter, ladies who work with pewter. And they couldn't believe that they would, in a couple of hours, have something that they could, and they were talking and said, oh gosh, I'm going to get my chair, and I'm going to sit at this thing, and I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to put that there, and I just listened to the conversation. A few hours later, and they got stuck in. They put the thing together, put the screws in, got them to Mitre saw the whole thing, they looked at the lengths, and when they looked at it initially, they said, we're going to make benches out of that? I said, yeah, it's made out of wood, that's wood. Let's go. Started cutting this up, putting it together. By the end of it, they were like little chickens, talking about what they're going to plan. Now the bench was over and done with, finished. They've moved beyond that. What are they going to do on it is what they were talking about. That's what I'm trying to put across to you. I've finished that project. I love what I've done, but I'm now moving on. I'm going to manufacture my pewter products on that table. There you go. Do you understand? That's exactly your approach to this whole thing. Right, okay. Questions and general discussion. Do you have to? I am finished.
Unless everybody sit quiet.
No question. Right, guys, thanks. No, look, I think in future I will remove that because we've been pretty much interactive while we've done the presentation, okay? And I appreciate that because it's always difficult trying to talk and everybody just sits and looks at you at the presentation, right? So can we hit the next one? Alright, okay, so where to next, okay? So our second workshop, what we'll do is we'll have a look at whether to sketch or sketch up. Okay, you can get that? Who didn't get that?
I thought you just said...
Who didn't get it?
I did, but I thought you're contradicting yourself. That's life. You just said you don't need SketchUp or any of those things. You just need a pen and paper.
Okay. Now, so where are you going to do the sketch?
On a piece of paper.
There we go, so we've just gone full circle. Alright, okay, so for the geeks in your in the group, I guess you guys will have a look at SketchUp. Look, I just put sketch and SketchUp, okay, just to do a play on words. But it's entirely up to you. Who works with SketchUp? Web-based or standalone? Oh, you got the money, okay. The web-based version has kind of deteriorated a little bit for the woodworkers. It's a free version for us to use. But the problem is that the web-based version, the plugins no longer work. So like the cutting list, for example, doesn't work anymore. So I gave SketchUp as a bad habit and I moved on. And what I did do, just to mention it to you guys, you can go and have a look. There's a couple of free CAD products out there And the one that I work with is actually FreeCAD, which has got a very big community. And it's got all this, so it's got, what do you call it, when you change sizes on your software? Parametric. Parametric, yes. Oh, well done. I was just checking you knew what we were talking about. So it's got parametric options on it, so that's really great because like I was saying to you, when I make tables for people, they want a 1.2 by 800, then I can use the same drawing to change it down to 1 by 600, for example, you understand? Without having to go to the effort of having to redraw and whatever, just change the diameters to scale automatically, and then just save it and off you go again. So I use, it's actually called FreeCAD, as in gratis CAD. So go and have a look at it. If you guys aren't into that, I'll discuss this in the second session. I'll show you how to work with paper-based stuff. I actually came across a guy that set up a technique to work on paper, which I just thought was brilliant. So I'll bring a sample of it in. You guys can have a look at it. And I'm actually kind of using that more. So I do sketches quickly on that, and then I'll sit down and I've got a bit of time. So on FreeCAD, and I'll put it in there and build everything up with its bill of material and so on and stuff. Okay. So there are things to do. But what I want to say is, go and have a look out there just to kind of pick your mind up. I'm not familiar with, I know CAD, but I'm not familiar with all the CAD. AutoCAD, for example, I've played around on that for a couple of years. But you know, they're pricey. I mean, SketchUp's also pricey as well in their pricing model. Have you got education license? I wish we could all get. I mean, licenses for education. But that's where we're going to head off. Okay, so basically what it boils down to is we need a plan. So we're going to talk about putting the plan together, okay? And then if you guys do a little bit of homework and research, then come back and let's have a good thrash session and see how it works out. I hope to see you guys back again. You're a great crowd, so please come back. If you can't make it, we understand. As I say, we'll publish the presentation onto the website. You're just going to miss the cookies and the coffee and my lovely voice. So
what's the next date?
Hello?
Next date.
25.
Okay, can you go to the next slide, please? Okay, thank you. Oh, this is a bad colour. Thank you for attending this first workshop. We look forward to seeing you on the 29th of February. Okay. At 9 o'clock. Guys, that was fun. I enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
But go out there and go and have a look and see what you guys are going to do. And then special thanks to Hardware Centre for giving us the opportunity to present this to you and for making use of their facilities. Thank you, Hardware Centre. Alright guys, take care. If you want to stick around and chat to whatever the test for 50 minutes,
didn't know you needed it.
Yeah, absolutely. But you got to say the standing